So even in 2024, the PS Vita has got to be one of my favorite consoles out there. I'm a PlayStation first type of gamer, and I also love handheld consoles. And that's why the PS Vita, it's a dream come true for me, and I'm still wishing that we can get the PS Vita 2 at some point. Actually, I still use the PS Portal currently because I love playing Sony titles on the go. But until we get new iteration of the PlayStation Vita, and hopefully the rumors are true, until then I decided that I want to grow my PS Vita collection as much as I can. And actually it became like a tradition for me. Whenever I'm traveling to a new country, I am trying to buy at least one PS Vita games from that country. So that's how my collection grew quite a bit in the past 2 years. But I also have, let's say, a small logic in how I actually collect these PS Vita cartridges. So first of all, we got the Hobbit Lego. This isn't really a big title. It's just something that I got because Lego games can be quite fun from time to time. I don't have too many Lego games, but for some reason I went with the Hobbit for the PS Vita. I wanted to have one specific Lego game for the PS Vita, and probably this was quite cheap. I don't even remember where I got these, but as I said, I wanted a Lego game for my PS Vita, and now I have the Hobbit. Then I also wanted a fighting game for the PS Vita. I'm not really a big fighting game type of player, like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter and all that, but I do have Mortal Kombat for the PS Vita, and this is actually a really good game considering how old the console is and the hardware. These graphics for Mortal Kombat actually are still amazing. I wanted a fighting game and I chose Mortal Kombat. Then I also wanted a shooter game, and I did want Killzone because I know that specific game is one of the most recommended on the PS Vita, but I couldn't really find it back then, and I decided to go with Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified. To be honest, I didn't really play it that much. I don't really like first-person shooters on a console. I usually do it on a mouse and keyboard, but I wanted a shooter game and I decided to go with this one. It wasn't that expensive, and that's why I had it in my collection ever since 2 years ago, I believe. Then I went with FIFA game, and I got this specific one for two reasons. The first one is that we have Messi on the cover. I don't know if you're a Messi or a Ronaldo fan, but I'm a big Messi fan, and I wanted one that has him on the cover. And I actually bought this in Italy. It was really cheap, to be honest. I wanted a FIFA game, it had Messi on it. It's in Italian, and I don't think I was able to change the language for some reason, but I wanted a FIFA game, so now I have this one. Next, it's one of the classics for the PS Vita. I didn't really play it that much, but we have over here Tearaway. And actually, this is one of the games that show you the capabilities of the PlayStation Vita to its fullest, because the PS Vita has a bunch of different sensors, the touch on the back, the sensors on the front, and this takes advantage of those sensors. And it's a really interesting game. If you look online, this is one of the classics for the PS Vita, and that's why I wanted this specific one in my collection. And actually, this is in Dutch. This is a game that I bought when I was in Amsterdam, so again something that I was able to pick up in a different country. And during the same trip in Amsterdam, I also bought another classic, and we have Jak and Daxter, the trilogy. This is really fun game. I always wanted to get Jak and Daxter, but I really couldn't play these specific games on a big screen TV, so I wanted to have this on a portable device, and having this on the PS Vita, it's really good. And the game is actually still amazing even today, so I highly recommend this game. Then another classic, we have Little Big Planet, and this was also bought from a different country. This was bought, I believe, last year in Paris. So this is a game that has French on the cover, but it's also in English, so that's a good thing. But Little Big Planet, Sackboy in general, it's a fun little game, Sony exclusive. At some point I wanted to get all of them. I do have quite a few of them also for the PSP, now the PS Vita. I'm thinking if I should do the full collection like I did in the past with Assassin's Creed, God of War and a couple of others. So I'm still considering that, but I truly wanted to have this in my collection for the PS Vita. Then the first game I ever bought for the PS Vita, and I actually ordered the same one when I got the 1000 model that I got over here. This was bought from a used store here in Romania. We don't have that many, and I found it online, full box. It was something that I always wanted to have, the full box PS Vita. And actually that short that I did a while back with the unboxing is still one of the best performing videos here on the channel. So thank you guys for that. And the game that I got with that console back then was Uncharted Golden Abyss. This is a game that I really wanted a long time ago because I'm a fan of the Uncharted series. I also wanted to get this specific game and beat it because I played and ended all the previous games on the PS3 and also PS4, and I also wanted to get this specific one. And to my surprise, this is actually a full game. The graphics, sure, are not on the same level with the PS3 ones, but it's a full game, a lot of chapters. At some point I didn't know what to expect because it was going further and further, so it's a full game that you can play on PS Vita. And actually it takes advantage of the sensors on the PS Vita, so it's a specific game for this console and I can highly recommend. Then another game that I wanted for my full collection because I'm collecting all of them, as I said previously, Assassin's Creed is one of those games. And I have over here Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation. It's in the same category with the Uncharted one. By then I played and beat all of the Assassin's Creed game that there is. Not with all the trophies of course, but this one was missing from my collection and also to play it until the end. And then I got this one. To be honest, it's not that great because it feels really slow. So there you can see the all harder on the PS Vita, but it's still an amazing game. Playing it on the PS Vita was a bit of struggle, but I still enjoyed doing it. So also a game for the collection for the PS Vita. I highly recommend getting this one. And then probably one of the best out there for the PS Vita, at least for me personally. I know that I said this before and there are a couple of others that are almost on the same level with me, but this one probably is on the top. And we have God of War collection over here, so it's God of War 1 and 2. Unfortunately, this cover is not the original one. I had to print this one out. I played and beat both of these games from this collection on the PS Vita, and these are amazing. I always started both of those games but never beat them, and I finally managed to do it on the PS Vita. Again, one of the best games on the PS Vita. Definitely recommend checking it out. Then I said about the shooters that I got Call of Duty, but in the end I also managed to get Killzone, and this is the most recent one. I didn't even peel off the sticker for where I got this game. It's also from a store here in Romania, the same one that I mentioned before, not sponsored or anything, but Killzone, for some reason, even though I haven't even played it yet, if you look at the ranks of the games on PS Vita, apparently this is one of the best for some reason. I can't really say why because I didn't play it, but probably that's true. And Killzone, it's one of the classics currently for the PS Vita. So if you want to collect more games on PS Vita, apparently this is the one that you should have in your collection for some reason. Then a more quirky one, and we have PlayStation All-Star Battle Royale. Now, a funny thing about why I have this in my collection. Again, this is a fighting game, not in the same idea with Mortal Kombat, but rather something in Super Smash on the Nintendo. It's a battle royale with all the classics from the PlayStation. We have Nathan Drake from Uncharted, we have the infamous one, we have Sackboy, Ratchet, Kratos from God of War, so a bunch of different ones as you can see right here on the cover. And the specific reason why I got this, at this point this is a pretty old video that I did a while back, but if you have played God of War Ragnarok, there is a specific line when you're traveling by boat, conversation between the characters.
Brother, I've heard my share of stories about your homeland, but I'd also heard that you once fought in a tournament.
I fought in many contests.
But this particular one, I heard you did battle with beasts, scoundrels, princesses, the undead, automatons, and history's greatest musician. That's not true, is it?
I would not speak of this.
Fair enough, brother.
In some way, Kratos confirms that he has battled all these different characters, so from that point of view I do believe that this game becomes canon with the God of War series. So that's why when I was building my God of War collection, I bought this one just for this specific reason. I really don't know how to play this type of games. I also didn't play Smash Bros that much, but that's the reason why I have this one in my collection. Then we have a game that actually, if I remember correctly, besides Uncharted, was the first game that I got on my 1000 model, and this was bought digitally because the physical cartridges were really expensive, and I am talking about Gravity Rush. But if you can see over here, it says Gravity Days. That's because this is the Japanese version. And even though I played and beat the Gravity Rush on the PS Vita, the digital one, this year I was in Japan and I wanted, of course, to buy some games over there. I bought it even though I already had it digitally, but the thing is that you can't change the language. You have to play it in Japanese, so I won't be able to do that. And funny enough, if you insert this game in the PS Vita and you already had the original one, as I'm showing you right here on the screen, apparently this is seen as a different game, so new saves, trophies and all that. I also wanted a physical copy for my collection, and even though it's in Japanese, I will not play it anytime soon again, but I do have the digital version, so I'm happy with that. Now, there are a few other games that I bought in Japan because I couldn't resist, and that's the case for Little Big Planet. Again, this is different than the one that I showed previously, but I bought this because it was really cheap, so it's about $2 and some change, so really cheap. And at that point I didn't even know if it's the same one that I got home, and it looks like it's the same game in the end, but it's fine. I like having this in my collection as well, so I will keep it still. I will not sell it because it's a different cover and it's a memory that I have from my visit in Japan. And in the same store I actually bought it in the same time with Little Big Planet. It was Terraria, and this is a pretty old pixel type of game, farming one. Me, honestly, I haven't played any of it. I know my wife was playing it on some other consoles, but I never did it. This is a classic, not necessary for the PS Vita, but it was also $2 and something, really cheap, so I had to get it. Now, one of the most recent ones that I got, it's a Telltale game because I also wanted to have one of those in my collection. When I got the PS Vita, I wanted to get as much games as possible, and most of them were digitally back then, so my collection is also quite big digitally. And when I wanted to buy a Telltale game, I decided that I want to play either Walking Dead or Wolf Among Us. Then I bought digitally Walking Dead because I'm also a fan of the series. I wanted to see how the story is on that one. That's one reason. And the second one was that Wolf Among Us, while it's a great game and probably the story is better, the game is not that responsive on the PS Vita. So there are levels where it stutters quite a lot, so you're struggling playing it. So that's why I went with the Walking Dead. But then I found Wolf Among Us physically, and I'm still trying to get Walking Dead physically as well, even though I have it digitally. But considering that most of people will say that this is better, I wanted to have this in my collection. And the first time I saw it online, I had to have it. This was bought a couple of months ago, one of the latest one that I got for my collection. And I'm really happy, and I actually started playing it on my 1000 PS Vita model. And so far so good. I did get some hiccups, but it's not that crazy. You will struggle a bit, but it's a great game. I recommend you checking this one out. Then another classic that I wanted on my PS Vita, we have Rayman Origins. I don't think I ever beat neither of the Rayman games, but I was always a fan. I like the concept, the quirky little character throwing your punches or spinning your ears to fly a bit. I always liked this game when I was younger, and I wanted a Rayman for PS Vita. To be honest, I don't even know if there are multiple Rayman games. I believe so. So Rayman Origins on the PS Vita, if you are familiar with the game and you like those type of games, then I can highly recommend checking out. And last but not least, we have something that I have zero knowledge about, and the only reason why I bought it, this was also bought in Japan a few months ago. I bought it just because it was in a bigger box. I thought that probably it has some other things inside that box, or maybe there were two games. And yeah, apparently there are two cartridges inside this box, and I got G Generation Genesis. I don't even know if that's the official title or not, but this is the box right over here. It looked amazing. The price wasn't that expensive, a bit more than $10, I believe, but I just had to have it. These boxed ones usually were more expensive in Japan, and this one was among the cheapest ones. To be honest, I think this box was never opened, so probably I opened it for the first time, but I made sure that I would pack it as cleanly as possible. Inside, everything is still mint. It's a fun little item that I like having for my PS Vita collection. And with this one, we have the full collection for my PS Vita. As I said, this isn't too crazy, but I have a couple of reasons why I got these games, as I mentioned down the line. Some of them I own twice, either digitally or physically, but every game, well, mostly every game has a specific story, and that's the beauty. And I decided that I want to do this for the PS Vita ever since the beginning. It's not just about let's buy as much as possible. I got these games for a specific reason, even if it's just to have it over there, or it was a specific genre that I wanted in my collection. It may not be something that you normally do, but this is my collection and I wanted to have a bit more personal, and that's the story about my PS Vita collection. The PS Vita, as I said, is still one of my favorite consoles out there, and I really hope that the rumors are true and we will have a PS Vita 2, maybe next year or even in 2 years. I don't care, just give us that collection. I want to have the opportunity of playing PS4 level games on a handheld made by Sony to continue my collection. That's the place where most of my games are, even though now I have a lot of them on PC because of the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally. Xbox, not so much. I usually have Game Pass and I take full advantage of it, but PlayStation is the place where I collect most of my games, and I really want to continue on playing them, specifically on a handheld. And that's why the PlayStation Portal, it's an amazing device for me. As I said in my review video, this isn't for everyone and I really understand that, but being able to play my PS5 games on the go, and for some games, to be honest, it's perfect. There are a few that I couldn't really play. The most recent one is Jedi Survivor. I tried that one, but there are some timing issues over there. You really need to be on point with some specific combat, so I couldn't play that one. But other games, and currently, for example, I am replaying The Last of Us Part 1, the remake one, and it's been awesome. I don't even notice the lag at some point. It's an amazing thing to do, and because of this reason, and not only, of course, I really hope that we will get a PS Vita 2 at some point. Who knows? Let's see what happens next. Time will tell. Hopefully Sony has not abandoned the handheld idea. Now, if the sales have surpassed their expectation with the PlayStation Portal, hopefully they'll reconsider and we will actually get a PS Vita 2 or a PSP 3. That could also be a cool name, to be honest. I don't really care about which one. Well, it has to be either Vita or PSP, hopefully. So time will tell. Let's see. I rabbled enough again about consoles and games. Thank you for sticking until the end. If you like my collection, drop a comment, let me know what else I should add, what specific games you like on the PlayStation Vita, and I'll make sure to add them on my collection, because this is a fun little process, and I'll continue on updating this list as much as I can. Now, thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. This is Silvio, this is the Tech Arrival, and I'll see you in the next one.